topics of critical reasoning verbal, which is weaken of law questions. This topic is very important even to GRE students, because though they don't have to answer questions based on this topic as GMAT students do, they have to write an essay based on it, which is called analysis of an argument. So this is a question in which we are asked to find what the inconsistency or what the fault in the reasoning of the author is. So the question may be worded as follows: which of the following would most weaken or invalidate the given argument? Which of the following is a major flaw in the author's reasoning? So we are taking one example, and after that I shall explain to you the fallacies that are contained in it. But let us first see what the common fallacies of reasoning are. The first bunch of fallacies is called inductive fallacies, which has something to do with the type of evidence that the author has provided, if it is in a survey form or a sample form. So first of all, it could be too small a sample. Second, it could be an incomplete or partial sample. And third, it could be an atypical, that is non-typical or abnormal sample. Causal fallacies, be careful, this is not casual, this is causal, cause and effect fallacies. Coincidence mistaken for cause, wrong cause attribution, cause effect reversal. And the third bunch of fallacies is numerical fallacies, and these fallacies relate to the terms number, percentage, average and range. Then we come to the fourth one, which is called scope shift. Fifth is invalid analogy, and sixth is citing source of evidence as evidence. Now here is an example that I have written on the board. But ever since Tasty Taco started advertising last year, it saw a 40% increase over the previous year's sales. Any business that wants to increase its profit should start advertising. Now here, as I said to you, yes, in the last module, we have to first find out the conclusion. Even before finding out the fault, we have to analyze the argument into its two stated parts, which is conclusion, evidence, and then most of the faults lie because of the assumptions. The mistaken assumptions are the root cause of many of the fallacies. So here we have two statements. In one, there is just one name mentioned, so it is very narrow. And in the last sentence, it is saying any business. That means every business. So that means this is our conclusion, which is covering every business. So any business that wants to increase its profit should start advertising. So this is our conclusion. And whatever remains is our evidence. So why is the author saying that any business that wants to profit should start advertising? Because when Tasty Taco started advertising, it saw a great increase in its sales. Now let us see what the faults are. Which of the faults we can find from this list in this example. So the first thing is too small a sample. Now on the basis of just one restaurant, the author has generalized too much, too broadly. So that means the scope of the evidence is too small compared to the scope of the conclusion. So the sample is too small. Okay. Secondly, he has taken only a restaurant where they serve tacos. He has not surveyed any other business or any other type of even restaurant, but he is concluding for any business. So that means his sample is incomplete or partial. It is not cross-sectional. He has not studied different kinds of businesses before coming to this conclusion. So it is an incomplete or partial sample. And finally, he is talking about he has taken only a taco restaurant as his sample. So it is not a typical sample. You have to have a sample which is an average sample. So what do average restaurants serve? Those kinds of restaurants have to be studied. Only then you will get an average sample, otherwise it becomes an abnormal or atypical sample. That means it is not an ordinary sample, it is a niche kind of sample. So if you are going to give a sample as your evidence, you have to see that the sample is at least 51% of the total number, that means the majority. Second, it is representing in equal percentage all the subsets of the set, and finally it consists of the middle range of the sample, of the whole group. So we found these three fallacies here in this example. Now let us come to the next group of fallacies. Causal fallacies. Causal fallacies are fallacies of cause and effect, attributing an effect to a cause which may not be the cause. So, or may not be the only cause. First of all, it could be a sheer coincidence that one act happens, X happens and Y follows. So we automatically think that X is the cause of Y. But we cannot conclude that before we have checked out two other possibilities, two other combinations. We are saying first X, second Y, therefore X cause of Y. But have we checked this possibility? No X but still Y, or X but still no Y. Okay, so here have we checked the possibility that other businesses have advertised but still not seen an increase in sales, or some businesses have not advertised but yet have seen an increase in sales. So it could be sheer coincidence that this business has advertised and it has seen an increase in its sales. Wrong cause attribution is out of many causes or many causal factors to fix on just one as the whole and sole cause of that effect. So here advertising has been attributed as the only cause for increase in the sales of tasty taco. It could be due to improvement in the quality, maybe due to reduction of prices. It could be due to any number of other reasons. So fixing on just one cause as the only cause for many causes for an effect is called wrong cause attribution. Now cause-effect reversal is what we think is the cause is actually the effect. Okay, so how does this work? So what is the cause we're thinking? Advertising. Okay, advertising is the cause in the increase of the sales. But maybe the sales had increased first, and because of that they wanted to advertise so that they would increase their sales more. So it could be cause-effect reversal. It's like saying John is healthy because John exercises. It could be John exercises because he is healthy. Can a sick person exercise? So cause-effect reversal, this is a very rare one, but it does come in some questions. Then we have numerical fallacies. Now numerical fallacies are very sly kind of fallacies because technically they are not mistaken, but materially they create a wrong impression. So when a number is given, we have to check the percentage. When a percentage is given, we have to check the number. Now let us see this example. The argument states that they saw a 40% increase over the previous year's sales. Now, until and unless we know what the previous year's figures were, we cannot say whether this 40% increase is a real increase. For example, if last year only 10 tacos were sold, this year a 40% increase in the sales would mean only 4 more tacos were sold. So we have to check that. Secondly, if somebody advertises that 100% of our students crossed 90% score in their board exams, we have to check actually how many students appeared for the exam. So if 2 only appeared and both of them scored above 90, that is not a very high number. Okay, so number and percentage, these are very dicey concepts, so we have to check them. Third one, which again could tell a lie in effect, is average. The average placement package of a business school is 18 lakh per annum. Yes, and 18 lakh per annum. Now, how is it distributed is what is most important. Suppose there are just 3 students, A, B, C. Maybe one of them got 16 lakh, the other got 2 lakh, and the third one was not even placed. But still the average is coming to 6 lakh per annum. Okay. So we only have to get a total of 18. Now how that total is constituted is very important. Otherwise it would seem that average means everyone. Average does not mean each. And finally the range. Range is the lowest, is the difference between the lowest and the highest of any quantity or number. So if that range is the same, it does not mean that the actual numbers are same. Suppose the range of scores of class 10A and class 10B is the same, 10%. So can we conclude from this that A and B divisions have scored the same marks? Not at all, because it depends on where the range starts. Suppose for class A it starts at 80%, it will go up to 90%. The same range of 10% could start at 30% for standard B, 10B, and move on to 40%. So are the numbers the same? No. Only the difference between the lowest and the highest is the same. So these are numerical fallacies. We have after that a scope shift. Scope shift is a very cunning kind of fallacy. You have to read the conclusion very carefully and the evidence very carefully to see whether the evidence given is for the conclusion, whether the two terms match, the two concepts match or not. Now here you will see that in the argument he is giving sales, okay, and increase in sales is given as evidence, but in the conclusion he has said profit. Now are these two the same? Not at all. Increased sales don't necessarily mean increased profits or any profits at all. They could even lead to a loss. It depends on what the cause of the increased sales is. If there are heavy discounts being given, it could even lead to a loss. So we have to watch carefully to see whether the terms used in the evidence are the same as the terms used in the conclusion. Otherwise what happens? There is the error, the fallacy of scope shift. Invalid analogy is a comparison which is made between two seemingly identical cases but with some differences. So let us say that India and Singapore are both Asian countries. Then India should be as clean as Singapore. Now here, no doubt, what is the point of similarity? Only one, which is Asian. But what are the differences between the two cases? There are many differences. First of all, size, then the population and the diversity of India is much different from that of Singapore. So we have not considered it at all, but we are just comparing the two and trying to equate them on the basis of one similarity. And this is the last one, citing source of evidence as evidence. So somebody who has a lot of credibility says something, so we immediately believe it because he said so. So this is, but why did he say so? What about it? So if it is saying that X laboratory is the leading laboratory in genetic research, has said that genes can be changed and you can have genes of some other creature in you. Oh, so we immediately think, okay, that's great, now I can have the genes of some clever person or somebody else. But what is the basis of this finding? Has he said that we have experimented with so many people, this is the result of so many experiments over so many years? Has he said anything? No. Because X laboratories is a reputable concern, we immediately trust it and believe whatever it's saying without checking the evidence. There is no evidence given whatsoever, only the source of the evidence is being used as evidence. So these are the commonest fallacies found in your GRE or GMAT critical reasoning, and we should always check every argument for these fallacies. Now next time I shall be discussing how to strengthen or weaken. Okay, strengthen or weaken questions will be discussed in our next module. Thank you.